Hey, what's up you guys? Josh here with the RC Recon channel, and today we've got some more upgrades for the Traxxas 4-Tec 3.0. The first thing, in our journey to get to 100 miles an hour or more with this 4-Tec, we have two Traxxas locking front and rear differentials. That's the same part number, of course, 8379, and this will lock the left and right wheels together so that it makes it truly all-wheel drive, all four wheels getting the same power at the same time. And this really helps with speedrun cars not to let the car drift left and right, but also if you give it so much throttle that the differentials just totally open up and all the power goes to one wheel, this will prevent that completely. So we've got this in today's video, and then in a future video, we're going to be doing this. So this is a sway bar link for the 4-Tec. It's actually for the 2.0, but it fits for the 3.0 as well. Part number 8398. So if you want to see this installation, be sure to subscribe. This will be in the following week's video. Lastly, we have a ceramic rubber sealed bearing kit. This is for the 4-Tec 2.0, but it will work just fine on the 3.0. I'm not going to do a separate video on this, but just know that as I'm doing upgrades to the differential, to the steering, the entire vehicle, I'm going to be swapping out the bearings or bushings for bearings where applicable. But this is going to help enable us to reduce friction as much as possible. So really excited about using these. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the front and rear differentials. All right, so we'll start with the front. I already took the body off. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take all four wheels off just so that they're out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and take this front bumper off. Now we may actually be able to get to the differential without taking this bumper off. The only reason I'm hesitant on the bumper removal is as soon as I take that off, the pins in this cover here that hold the A-arms on will easily come off. And I don't want that popping off and everything start to loosen up and flap around. So what we'll do is remove this top brace here, these two arms, and then the shocks from the underside. That will allow me to pull this shock tower and differential cover off at the same time. So I've got my 2mm hex tool and my drill. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, there's the 5 screws for the top of the brace. Now for the 2 arms up here. And we'll leave the screws in. Now with that loose up top, we're going to go ahead and remove the 2 dog bones on either side of the diff. Now we'll lift this up and remove the lower shock screws. Now we're going to remove the 4 screws surrounding the differential cover. And now we've got 1 screw right up here to remove. Alright, so with just a little bit of maneuvering there, we were able to just tilt that forward and get the cover off. Now the differential just lifts right out. So you see we'll be replacing both of these bearings. You can see there's a bigger bearing on this side than on that side. Kind of interesting that they did it that way. But then there's a bearing right here we'll replace. And again, all throughout, anywhere that there's a bearing, we are going to replace it with a ceramic one. But let's go ahead and set this aside, move the camera, and then show you exactly what needs to be replaced in order to lock this differential. You can see right now, I'm able to turn it and it's open. And it actually sounds not very smooth. Looks like I'm going to need this tool. It's a 1.5mm to loosen up this pin right here. with that, we've got that removed all the way. I will slide this off, and here's one of our bearings. We will be swapping this out with this new one. Now they look very, very similar, so I do not want to get them mixed up. Alright, from here we need to take this gear off. Number 4. Alright, so that came off pretty easily. So we are not going to use this internal spider gear. We do have to be mindful of that gasket though, because we are going to reuse that. So we'll just slide this off of here and set that back onto there. Now from this side, same thing, we're going to remove this grub. Alright, then there's the other cup. And this bearing, like I said, is a little bit different. Looks like it matches up to here. So the smaller bearing goes on the cup that is on that side. And now from here, I don't even think we need anything else. So this whole spider gear setup and both shafts we're not even going to use. And we would keep the mess in here. Alright, so let's get this opened up. Now on this side it has the case, that little insert, the shaft, and one pin. Okay. Now of course this is going to be the side where that gear goes on. And the pin, you see this shaft is offset, right? Or the hole here is offset. It needs to go on the side where the gear will be screwed on, because the pin will go through here. Okay. Like that. And then insert this here. And then we can start putting the bearing and then, whoops, be careful for that to not fall off. And you know, it may actually be best for us to go ahead and put this gear on first. So we've got that pin down in there. Let's set this down. I want to clear out just a little bit more of this fluid. I'll make sure our gasket is set in the right spot. And on the front of this there's two little pins, and those pins need to drop in here and here on both sides. So just take your time, make sure everything is lined up, and you should be good to go. Alright, so I've got the 4 screws inserted just so that that gasket doesn't move. Now I've got this insert as well. This is going to go through here just to kind of fill up that space a little bit and push up against that blue gasket. Now we can go ahead and slide this onto here, being sure to line up our pins and screw holes. As soon as I start to hear the driver lose power, that's when I let go. I'll just say, if you don't know your driver, just do all this by hand and you'll prevent stripping out the plastic. All right. So we have the one bearing on this side. We'll go ahead and put the cup back on and then take our pin and just check which side has the threads. It's this side. Pop that on. On this side, same thing. We'll put the bearing on. Then the cup. Check which side the threads are. And then drop our pin in. All right, there we go. So now our differential is completely locked. Now, even though you have a locked differential now, if you're doing this for speed run cars, you still don't want to just hit full throttle right off the bat. Whether you're doing drag racing or whatever, you still got to ease into your power. Now for drag racing, you're going to want to do that anyways to try to prevent wheel slip. And for speed runs, you want to ease into it so that you get the most out of your battery and your top speed. So that's how you lock a differential in a Traxxas 4-Tec. We're going to do the reverse steps to get this installed in the front. And then for the rear, I'm just going to show you which screws to take out, but the process is essentially exactly the same. It would be my high recommendation to swap out these bearings as you go. And if you're curious what the bearing kit part number is, it is TFE 5790. That's if you're going to get the fast eddy bearings. So that's what the kit is. As of recording this video, it's $84.99 US dollars. For the rear, what you're going to want to do, again, take the wheels off, take these two screws up here for the upper links so they can swing out of the way. This will drop this down and you can take the dog bones out. Remove the lower shock on both sides. If you have a link here, go ahead and remove that as well. This one did not come with link stock, but if you have one, remove it. And then you'll want to remove the two screws up here holding that rear, it's not a bumper, it's the body clip post. So you'll remove that, and then, well, actually you can keep that on because we're removing the bottom screws for the shocks. And then when you go to remove these four screws here, in here, right there, and back here, this whole thing will come off together, and then it's the same exact process. All right, so one last quick little thing. You do have to take off the motor cover in order to remove the differential. Plus, if you're replacing bearings, you're gonna want to take that off anyways to replace those bearings. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you like this video, be sure to let me know by leaving a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.